Hey everyone, I'm Joey.
And I'm Rachel, and this is Good Things to Watch with Joey and Rachel, a podcast with two pals who watch a lot of movies and TV. We'll be taking a deep dive into our favorite films and shows and sharing insights as to what you should be watching too.
Today, we'll be talking about what we've watched since season 1 and what you should be looking forward to this fall.
Just a word of warning, these episodes may contain spoilers, so if you haven't seen the movies and TV shows that we're talking about today, what are you waiting for? Go watch it all and then come back.
Rachel, it's been a little bit of a while.
It has. I know that we talked about doing this again much sooner, but life happens and work happens and we just get behind.
I know. What's going on with you? How have you been?
Good. Just busy and trying to watch stuff in between. How about you?
I have been trying to watch stuff. I found myself rewatching a couple things. Okay, you have to refresh me because it's been like 8 months maybe since we've done this. Has it been that long?
Oh, no, I think it's been about 5 maybe. I think we did the last one in maybe March.
Gotcha. See, I've lost all track of time and space and the continuum itself since we've left. And I've just been, tackling some good shows and movies here and there, prepping for some going back to the movie stuff. We haven't been able to go to the movies for a little bit, so I've been a few times. I'm super excited to chat a little about that. And I think there's been 1 or 2 shows that I'm still in the middle of that I am loving right now. How about you?
Same. I haven't been to the movie theater yet, but we are going to the drive-in for the first time this season, this Thursday. So I'm really looking forward to that.
Really, really cool. I'd love to go to a drive-in. I know that you always talk about you and your husband going, and I get jealous because I don't think I've been to a drive-in. It's not actually in my memory. I know I've been to one as a kid, but it's been so long that I don't even recall when it was.
I went a few times as a kid, and I think I went probably maybe a few more times than I'm recalling, because I sit here and think to myself, well, how else did I see this movie? But it was a major staple in my husband's childhood. They went almost every week. So now that, we go on our own, he loves to go all the time, so do I. So we just have a good time with it.
Something about them just make me feel like I'm either going to be dumped at the drive-in for, not treating my date to the appropriate standard while I'm wearing a leather jacket, or a Twister is going to come, and then it's going to be a category 4 and it's just going to drop on us and ultimately be a big motivation for me to do better things in the future against tornadoes.
Right. But if you go with your second scenario, you could wear a white shirt and go through a windy, dirty tunnel and then still come out with a clean white shirt. And
well, you know how I like clean clothing. If we had sponsors, Rachel, this would be the perfect moment to talk about some organic, environmental friendly detergent that's getting popular right now. So anyone who wants to sponsor us, you feel free to come on in and we will make a pitch to whatever you're selling, as long as we agree with it.
Absolutely. Got to be like the Brady Bunch. We got to try out the product before we go endorse it. So,
I hate to go on a complete tangent before we even talk about stuff that we were really excited about for the future stuff and stuff that we've watched. But, I was just talking to my siblings the past 2 days about the Brady Bunch movie and the Very Brady sequel spoof movies, and
yes,
how much we adore them.
They are great. I love CB Barnes as Greg.
Oh my gosh,
he's just delightful as Greg. And I love him anyway.
Carol, I think, is my favorite because she's the woman from Scrubs, right? Or not Scrubs, Cheers. Sorry,
yes,
another one-word show.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh man, she has this look on her face that is so perfect. I think those shows really work because they keep it in modern times, but they're back in the 70s.
Yeah, I mean, we do quote it around the house sometimes. Especially a lot about, now, Cindy, remember, when you tattle on someone, you're not just tattling on them, you're tattling on yourself and telling others that you're a tattletale.
Now, is that a tale you want to tell? And
Exactly.
I love how there's always a bystander. Like the second one, it's the father, the stepfather, and the first one is just like random neighbors and stuff. But they're always kind of like listening to stuff that they're telling the kids, and they're like, "What are they talking about?"
And they picked the iconic moments from the show and blended it all into these films, and I just thought it was brilliant. From the something suddenly came up to the ow my nose and everything.
I think the sequel is actually I think I like that one better out of the two.
I haven't seen them for a while, so I kind of get them mixed in my head.
They're very similar. They could be like just one long movie. Because the first one, essentially, they're trying to save their home from being sold to, I don't know, I think a strip mall or something like that. And the kids join Battle of the Bands or something, and they become the Brady Six, and they do that whole thing. And the sequel is Carol's husband comes back from the dead.
Yes.
And he's not really the husband. He's some imposter that's trying to steal the horse from the living room because it's apparently worth a lot of money.
Let's put on our Sunday best and go to Sears.
Oh, and when they I think I'll go for a walk.
Yeah, exactly.
That they are class act, that group of Brady's.
Oh, I love the Brady Bunch.
What have you been watching more recently, Rachel?
Oh, I actually, despite how busy I've been, I did find some time to watch some stuff. I had a couple of down days that I really just kind of hammered into a few things. And I started watching a couple of things that have been in my queue for a while. Even some things that are older. Like I finally got a chance to see The Terminal with Tom Hanks.
How'd you like that?
I always wanted to watch the movie, but just never found the time or the mood to watch it. It was actually phenomenal. I really, really enjoyed that one. He did such a great job playing that character and it being based off of a true story. Tom Hanks he was a delight in it.
Yeah. I think he's probably one of my favorite actors, period. So, and I'm excited for him to pop up. Apparently he's been announced for a Wes Anderson movie. And I love Wes Anderson. Fantastic Mr. Fox, I think, is one of my all-time favorite movies. And The French Dispatch, which also is a stacked cast movie, sounds like it's going to be great. So Tom Hanks and Wes Anderson together, oh my God. But I hear Terminal is really emotional. I actually haven't seen that one.
It is. I mean, the poor man, while he was in flight from Bulgaria to New York, his country was torn apart and officially became not a country anymore. So when he landed, he was kind of like no man's land, and they couldn't process his passport. Now, through a chain of events and corrupt people that just wanted to farm him along, he ended up not being able to even step outside the terminal to get to New York City to do what he wanted to do. He had this big emotional journey with his father being a part of it. And so he was stuck living in this terminal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
For a very long time. And it was his adventures through the terminal and how he, got to where he needed to go. So it was an emotional journey, but it's really, really good. And it's a heartfelt movie, and it's something good to watch.
Is that directed by Steven Spielberg?
Oh, was it? Oh my God. I forget now.
I feel like I forget who directed it, but
it might have been, and it just, I lost that in me right now, but it might have been.
I might be mistaking it because I think I'm thinking of him and Tom Hanks working together for Catch Me If You Can, but I feel like The Terminal was also directed by him, like a redone kind of thing. And it was directed by Steven Spielberg, which is an interesting choice because usually he's so fantastical and kind of really big on world building and fantasy, but it's a very small story for him in a way.
It is, and you're absolutely right. But then again, they had to take this one airport that this man is stuck in and build a world in it for him.
Mm-hmm.
And all the things. I mean, he had to learn English by watching TV because he didn't even understand what was going on in his country. But they had to build this world that was big enough for him to live in for a long time, but yet isolating at the same time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, interesting. That's a good one.
I also, and I know that I keep hammering you with this one, but now that we're doing this, I can talk about it and get it out to more people, but you definitely have to watch Sweet Tooth. That has been my biggest thing. And in fact, I kept thinking I'll watch it again before season 2 comes out, now that they have actually greenlit season 2. But I'm like, I want to watch this again and soon. It's just the most fantastic journey. It's this perfect blend of sci-fi and post-apocalyptic kind of scenario and a fantasy adventure along the way.
Yeah.
With a virus that has doomed the world. I know that's a little too on point for people right now, but this was actually based off of a comic book that existed far long before what we're in right now. But at about the same time that this virus is around, the generation of children being born are hybrids, half human, half animal. So this story starts with this virus happening and a man that takes one of these children to live in the forest for fear of persecution. And it is such a beautifully done show. And I love these child actors that they've hired to play these hybrids. Just it's a really good story, and I love it. And I think everybody should be checking this one out.
I'll have to check. Is it a live action, and where can they find it?
They can find it on Netflix, and yes, it is a live action.
Really? So do they look all? How's the effects look?
It's actually really beautiful, Joey. The main child, Gus, is half deer.
Mm-hmm.
And he's got these antlers that are just adorable. And it actually, to me, I mean, I know that some people might be able to pick things apart if they are more technologically advanced with CGI than I am, but to me, it looks beautiful. To me, it looks seamless. They have a little girl who is half pig, so she's got this kind of piggish nose, and it's just really well done. And then they have the most outrageous, maybe not outrageous, but great character named Bobby. When you get to Bobby is one of the best characters, and I know that he's a big fan favorite. Mm-hmm. And he is more animal than human. In fact, he's mostly animal, but he can speak, so that's what gives him his humanity. But he's just an adorable little creature, and I love him.
Oh, that sounds so cute. I gotta check it out. I definitely have it on the docket. I feel like I have so many things that I'm needing to watch that I just haven't gotten to.
I know. How about you? What are you watching?
Well, I've watched a few movies throughout the time since we've last talked, but I started 2 shows that I'm excited about, and there are 2 that have been on my list for a very long time. So I'm glad I finally got up to them, and it gives me hope for the future for things like Sweet Tooth and What We Do in the Shadows, and things that are constantly being told to me that I must watch. But
mostly by me.
Mostly by you. And you're not the only person who told me about What We Do in the Shadows. So if that person's listening, I hope they're all giddy thinking that it's them right now. It is you, sir. If you're
and sir, whoever you are, I agree with you.
Rachel agrees. It's got the Rachel stamp of approval, everybody. So I know it's very important. Anyway, 2 things I've been watching that both have been out for some time. One's completed, one is still in the process of going on right now. First one I like, and I'm halfway through, is Fleabag. I'm a Fleabag, if you didn't if I didn't say that loud enough.
No, you did. You did.
But it is essentially, I love British humor. I am a big fan of Simon Pegg, Edgar Wright, and Nick Frost. I'm a big fan of French and Saunders. And I just think this has that very dry, break the fourth wall kind of funny little gimmick. And it's about this woman who's going through something. And I've only watched the first season. And you find out everything because I believe the whole show was supposed to be one season, and they paid her a nice large sum of money to write the second season, and she just continued it. But I think it's done now. But it's so funny. It's kind of a little raunchy than you expect, but nothing that's like too over the top. And it's really relatable in like I think something that I found that I was relating to in it is there's some like they're kind of a family that's been broken up a tiny bit, and the relationship between the two sisters, the main character and her sister, is just so funny, antagonistic, and supportive of each other because of that like broken family thing. So it's like very, very funny show, and it just knocks you on your butt a couple times with some really hard hitting emotional moments that pop up out of nowhere. So super tight, super funny show. And just very British. And the other show that I'm watching is also very British, is The Crown. I've been meaning to watch that for some time now. I think I'm like 7 episodes into the first season.
Yeah, is that the one that's about Princess Di?
It will eventually be about her.
Okay.
I think the most recent season just started to feature Princess Diana, because what's really neat, it starts, I from what I heard, I guess, or in my head, I had it thinking it's about generations of the crown and different kings and queens in history. And it's not that. It starts really when Queen Elizabeth's father dies, the current queen, and when she takes power. So it's her life all the way through. And every 2 seasons, they apparently have been told change actors, which I think is really interesting. So that way they grow. And there's a couple of like prominent British actors that are like Helena Bonham Carter is apparently one of the princesses eventually. I'm excited because I love Helena Bonham Carter and everything she's in. But really interesting. It's kind of funny to watch because sometimes you look at the problems that they're facing each episode and you're like, this is a very wealthy problem, and this is something that not everyone deals with. But it's funny because sometimes they really manage to get you with some of the things that she's going through and make her super relatable. And it's really interesting to see the balance of power between the crown and parliament, and kind of where people see power lies or where they believe it lies. And I've always been curious on that works, because I'm like, I don't understand how the royal family works in Britain, but it's really cool. And I'm definitely learning a lot of how it works. I'm sure it's over dramatized, but I'm really in love with it so far. Both of them really great. The Crown and Fleabag.
Awesome. That sounds cool. I've also watched a couple of it. I went like through this major Netflix phase where I kind of like went through my queue going, okay, what am I going to look at now? What am I going to watch now? I know that I started to talk to you about another show that I was watching on Netflix called The 3%. Mm-hmm. This is Netflix's first Brazilian show. And it's something they're really proud of, and they should be. But it's about this elite group of people called the Offshore, this place called the Offshore, that is very selective in its resident process. And you have this a large group of very impoverished people. And at the age of 20, you get one shot to go through this trial, kind of like almost like a Hunger Games thing without intentionally killing other people, to prove that you're capable of being part of the 3% that can go to the offshore. This is 4 seasons, and they knew that it was ending, so they gave it a proper ending, which I was very happy with. some seasons are better than others, but I think it's a great concept, and it's not unlike the other post-apocalyptic, like I said, Hunger Games and all that that's out there.
Yeah.
But I found it great. Whether you like the dubbing or the subtitles, they have them both.
Yeah.
But I really enjoyed it. I just found it interesting.
How do you feel about it kind of reminds me of Star Wars Visions coming out. How are you feeling about that?
Honestly, I don't know too much about it at this point. So if you want to kind of let me know about it, that'd be cool.
Yeah, sure. So as far as I know about it, because I've seen bits of the trailer, truthfully, I am just on the edge of my seat. I'm even checking Twitter literally right now for the Spider-Man No Way Home trailer. So I haven't been paying too much attention to other things that I haven't been looking for. Oh my God, is it out? I might throw up. It might be out. But it's an anime Star Wars show that's coming out, and it's going to be about, I believe, different Jedi and Sith of the past, and kind of be like major legends and stuff. I don't know how I feel about an anime for it, just because the only animes I've been truly a fan of is all the Dragon Ball related series, because they deserve our respect and everyone should watch them. And I guess Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! I'm not the biggest, truest fan of anime. There's a bunch of other great shows like Naruto, My Hero Academia, The One Punch Man. I'm not really even sure what his show is called, but that people really love, and more power to them. So I guess not being the biggest fan of anime, and I'm really enjoying the glow of a live action lightsaber, I'm not that excited for it, but it is coming, and it's coming to Disney Plus, and it's Star Wars related. So I figured we have to chat about it a little bit.
That sounds like an interesting concept. I am not a fan of anime, but I'm not opposed to checking that out just to see what it's about and maybe watch it if I can get into it.
I really wanted to watch Attack on Titan, but the thing with anime also, I'm not sure how you feel with this. Sometimes the more brutal, gory stuff that's animated, especially in anime, for some reason makes me a little sick. Like the scene from Kill Bill, the original Kill Bill, that has an anime portion. Well, that's especially brutal. So that's not really the best example of it. But sometimes something about the animated stuff and the over the top blood, and I can't look at. So sometimes I hope it's not brutal like that. I don't think it will, because it's on Disney Plus. But it makes me feel all icky inside.
Why is that, do you think?
I don't know.
Is it maybe because, I could totally see it, because anime is very cartoonish. And when you think cartoonish, you think kind of more innocent and childlike, even though a lot of anime is, not innocent and childlike. But maybe it's something about seeing, this childlike cartoon with blood. And
that might be it. It might be a combination of seeing something that's supposed to be innocent and seeing such gross visuals, like that Water Town, that rabbit movie,
Watership Down,
like that. Oof, that's brutal, and that's about rabbits. And I don't like that. And I know we've talked about it, and I know I'd love to have an episode on this one day. But something I watched in between, now that it's reminding me, in between, that was very gory, and I loved it. But it was hard to watch at some points, was Invincible on Amazon Prime. Have you seen Invincible on Amazon
Not
Prime?
yet, but I'm actually writing that down right now, because I thought I had it written down somewhere.
My good golly.
Maybe I do, but I do want to see that.
Because this would have been a great episode to plan for season 2, and I think it's still possible. But it's got J.K. Simmons playing the father, Steven Yeun playing the main title character, Invincible, and Sandra Oh playing his mother. This is written by Robert Kirkman, who is the same writer of another show and story that we like, The Walking Dead. And it's essentially superheroes. It kind of has like an evil Superman kind of vibe throughout the show. And it is very real. So it's drawn like Saturday morning cartoons almost. And it looks like, your favorite superheroes from back in the day shattering a leg and seeing everything. And it's a lot of blood. It's a very brutal show. I would say it's probably one of the most brutal fights I think I've ever seen took place in that show. And the writing's on point. I think it was like 8 episodes long. It doesn't feel like Marvel or DC. It's its own thing, and they fleshed it out enough that you feel like you're in that world in the first episode, and the voice acting is incredible. Incredible.
Okay. I've got that one written down. Maybe I'll bump that up on my watch list a little bit. Have you been able to check out Stephanie yet?
Stephanie
is another one that I watched on Netflix.
No.
It's 2017, and I actually might watch it again soon. And it's not that I'm super in love with it. Oh my God, I've got to watch that again. But I find it interesting enough where I want to go back and watch it again to see if I can catch a few things. It starts out with this little girl who probably is maybe 7 years old, 8 years old, and she's all alone in this house. And it's apparent by what she's kind of seeing that there's some kind of alien invasion. Why she's left alone isn't known at first. So she's taking care of herself. This poor little girl's all alone in this house, just taking care of herself. So there's an alien invasion outside, and it appears that she has a ghost with her on the inside.
Wait, a ghost helping her against aliens?
I didn't say helping her.
Rachel.
She's got a ghost in the house with her. So all by herself, she's got a ghost in the house, aliens outside.
By all accounts, she seems like she's going down.
Yeah, you got to watch it though.
Stephanie.
And this little, her name is Shree Crooks. She's adorable. And she's actually really good because she's in this movie for I think it's about the first almost half hour that she's in it all by herself.
Rachel, she doesn't sound like she's making it. I don't even know if I want to see it because of how much she sounds like she's not making aliens. What kind of aliens are we talking about? Are we talking reptilian, gray, abductee kind, or those other kinds that get hurt by water?
Well, maybe you just have to kind of watch it and see for yourself.
Rachel, I swear to just go back on this subject. If the Spider-Man trailer came out today, I am going to vomit.
You're going to vomit again? Don't vomit your coffee. You just made the coffee. Don't vomit.
But Rachel, I do think if it is out right this moment, I don't think we can not talk about it on this podcast. I
have not seen it, so
Rachel,
let me have it. Tell me all about it.
Hold on. Let me do a quick search on the YouTube, on the internet.
On the YouTube.
And I'm just going to do a quick little thing. Spider-Man No Way Home trailer is the first thing that pops up. This came out 56 minutes ago. Is this the actual trailer or is this BS? What do you think, Rachel? The Cosmic Wonder. I like them. I do. I like the Cosmic Wonder. I watch a lot of other channels that talk about superhero stuff, and it looks like it's not an actual trailer. It looks like it's him talking about the trailer. Okay, so I guess basically what we're facing today is there's probably a leak of the trailer out right now, and I don't think maybe this is actually it. Essentially, I'm sure you've heard me talk a little bit about the Spider-Man movie coming up, right?
Oh, just a little bit.
Just a little bit. So
just a little bit.
I know you don't watch much Marvel. You were with Netflix's Marvel, correct? Big fan of Daredevil, yes. Correct?
Yep, Daredevil, Punisher.
So essentially, because we're going into this whole multiverse timeline, spoiler alert, like we said in the beginning, everyone, if you've seen Loki and WandaVision, and Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness is coming out next year at some point. So we know we're going into the multiverse, and what they're really cleverly doing is they're utilizing Spider-Man, and I think the success that Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse had 2 years ago. And the theory is because there's been absolutely zero footage or trailers. It's coming out in December. It's late August right now. It's in a couple months, and there hasn't been any kind of scrap of evidence of what this movie is going to look like. There's a big theory going around that it's going to be a Spider-Verse movie, and we're going to get Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield and Tom Holland all as Spider-Man in one movie. Now, it's already been confirmed that we're getting Jamie Foxx's Electro from the Andrew Garfield movies, and Doc Ock, Alfred Molina from Spider-Man 2, which I still argue to this day, and I know the Dark Knight trilogy came out and it's just so much better, but Spider-Man 2, Tobey Maguire and Sam Raimi's collaboration is one of the best superhero movies ever, period. Nothing else to it. So super excited for that. So we do know it's going to have some sort of multiverse thing. This trailer has been sought after by the fans like crazy. They have been trolling us this whole time. I am one of those wacky fans constantly checking to see if it's been released, because it'll finally put to bed that argument of who the best one is. And oh man, they push so many of these out and so quick. It's like, you know what? Why the heck not? I am here to watch these movies. I love superheroes. I love Spider-Man, and I love all three of them. I loved all three of them. I don't care what anyone says. I found great things about each three movies, except for Spider-Man 3.
Yeah, let's no.
A lot of people kind of were crapping on Amazing Spider-Man 2 because it was a little bit too much. While it was a little convoluted, I thought it was fine. Really fine holiday fun. Gave us Gwen Stacy's famous death, and it was heartbreaking and beautiful because it was Emma Stone, and she did a great job, and their chemistry was great. But so excited to see this, and I really hope that we're all correct and it's got this multiverse thing and Tobey Maguire comes back, because I think it'd be really cool to see those fans who are always talking about the Raimi universe and coming with us, and all of us go to the movies together and just celebrate the great character that Spider-Man is.
Yeah. All right. I haven't caught up on the rest of the Spider-Man movies. I saw the first three with Tobey Maguire. Like I said, I got burned out with that third one. It was just terrible, and I never went back to it. Maybe someday if I catch them on TV or something, I'll look into the ones, because I do like Emma Stone. I do really like Emma Stone. I should give those a more fair chance.
She could do no wrong. She could do no wrong to me except for Aloha, which she did wrong, but she apologized for it.
Did she now?
She did. It was really funny at this award show. I think it was the Golden Globes. Somebody said something about Aloha, and like the whole audience was like kind of like ooh, or like laughing at it. And then you hear Emma Stone in the background like yell, "I'm sorry." It was very cute, and it was like everyone just like, oh, we forgive her. But you should definitely check them out. They're really fun. I'm really excited for this to cross over if it does. And there's even a rumor, and I'm not sure if this is true, but there is a rumor that Charlie Cox's Daredevil is going to be in it. It's multiverse.
Okay.
Anything
I can handle that. I can handle that.
It's a snow day, Rachel. Anything can happen. Do you remember that movie, Nickelodeon Snow Day?
I don't know if I saw that one. I remember now that you say the title, I have a vague recollection of it, but I don't think I ever saw it.
It's fine. It's just fine.
Fine.
Just fine. Actually, now that we talk about other things, so Emma Stone, though, I did see Cruella in the interim.
Okay, now tell me what you think, because my friend and super fan Vanessa says it was about 2 hours too long, which to me is just hilarious the way she said that. But
because it's 2 hours long, I get it. I get what she's joking that the film is unnecessary. I like that. I like your friend. Okay. Well, to quote another friend of ours, look, here's what I think. I think Emma Stone and the guys who played Horace and Jasper, and the woman who plays the Contessa, or whatever she's calling herself in that movie, Emma, you know who I'm talking about from from all those movies. She's very famous. Not Emma
Let's see.
Stone's character.
Emma Thompson.
Yes. Oh my God. Why was it Nanny McPhee, for crying out loud? She was I would say all of those characters, Cruella, Horace Jasper, and the Contessa, were just really good. Really cool characters. It definitely had a Joker meets Devil Wears Prada vibe. You do get into the whole, and I think this is the problem with all the live action Disney movies. Why does this exist? And I thought they got very convoluted with the plot. And I don't want to ruin it for you. I know we're promised spoilers to everybody on here, but I don't want to ruin it for you because I think it is worth a watch. But because Emma Stone, like, they're very fun to watch. The characters are great. The relationships are surprisingly sweet. Like, it's not like the cartoon. It's very much like Maleficent, where they're kind of recreating this character and rebranding her in a way because, she's not murdering puppies. But her and Jasper, it's like they're like siblings in a way. It's very sweet, and I liked it. And it was long, and it was a little bit of God. Well, sequels coming obviously at the end, and there is a sequel coming. It's been confirmed already. But I would say for the performances, it's worth a watch. It's very fun. I think Emma Stone is great in literally everything she does, so I liked it.
Maybe that would have to be a movie that I would catch on a Sunday afternoon when I had nothing else better to do.
Exactly, Rachel. If you're bored and it's it's a fall Sunday afternoon, a Sunday afternoon, and it's on Disney Plus, go for it. But it's definitely like, you don't have to watch it. It was kind of a cool redo. It could have been a lot better. It could have been tight, the fashion was fun. Like, it does remind me of Devil Wears Prada a bit, and I don't know. I think any fashion movie, you're always excited to see the person making the thing and see the final product and see how beautiful they make it. So I think it's kind of nice for people into that kind of stuff or into decor or whatever. But I think whatever. She has good lines. I love the something. She's not good. She's bad. Something bad and a little bit mad. I know it's like it's in the promotions, but I always love it when a character is referred to as mad and not crazy.
Yeah. Mad is good.
Ironically, she sings that in La La Land. She says, "A touch of madness is key," and I think that's true. Greatness. We both watched a wonderful animated movie this summer that I was so happy to watch, and I just love so much. And I just
go ahead, tell us all about it, Joey. I know you've been dying for this.
Oh my God. Okay, so I fell in love with Pixar's Luca this year. I think arguably there are more impressive Pixar movies out there. I guess I'll start with that because that's the most common thing that people are saying right now. But I'll go out on a limb and say this was my favorite Pixar movie. My family is super Italian. My mom always watched the movie Under Tuscan Sun quite a bit. And I love like movies about summer, stories about like a good summer, kind of a coming of age thing. So for me, it hit all the right things. I love the Porto Rosso, which is kind of like, I think, trying to take after Genoa, Italy. Is such a beautiful landscape. You could tell the artists did their work in researching what it looks like. And the movie is essentially about, if you haven't seen it, it's these two young sea monsters who become best of friends and are curious about the surface together. Go up and kind of spend some time up there. And then they have to, for one reason or another, go to the main town to hide from parents who don't want them to explore that surface land anymore. And it's really cute. And the animation of when the sea monsters go from sea monster to human is really beautiful and fun. And it's something really satisfying about it for some reason.
It was impressive. That was impressive.
And you know what's funny too? It's like the animation definitely looks a bit different. Like the people in Coco and Inside Out definitely looked more like people. This animation is definitely, I think it's because it's set in the 50s. definitely has like this Wallace and Gromit claymation kind of look, and I am totally behind it. I love it. I love the look. Luca is a great character. Alberto is like my new favorite character ever. I think he's so cool. He's like this little know-it-all who is so jealous and doesn't want to lose his best friend in the movie, and it's very adorable. And I think it was my movie of the summer. I loved it. I don't care what anyone says. I know there are technical better Pixar movies out there, but Luca is now my favorite. And what'd you think?
You know, for me, I mean, I really enjoyed Luca. I don't think I couldn't call it my favorite. I mean, I think one of my favorite Pixar movies, Monsters Inc. is probably maybe my ultimate favorite, along with Cars. I love, love, love Cars. That said, I thoroughly enjoyed Luca and do think that everybody should watch it. One of the most impressive things to me outside the animation from Sea Monster to Human and vice versa was the soundtrack. What I adored about it was that they used like authentic Italian, music and Italian lyric songs, and they didn't feel the need to fill the soundtrack with today's American pop stars. That's what I really enjoyed about it. I was waiting for the Taylor Swift and the Demi Lovato typical soundtrack, and I didn't get it. And I was really, really happy about that.
I'm glad you brought that up too, because I can't believe I didn't mention it. The soundtrack and the score by Dan Romer is unreal. I'm a big score fan, and this one just is really, really beautiful. And I've been listening to both the entire summer since I first watched this movie. I downloaded both. I've even made the pasta from that movie just to taste it. I'm a big supporter of trying to make some dishes you see in movies, because if you think it looks that good, it probably is that good. And you know what, folks? That Trinette al pesto is something, and I loved it. But
was it really good?
So good. It's it's pesto, so if you like pesto, it's good. But it was really tasty, and I made it a couple times since I've seen it, and I just loved everything. I love the friendship. I love the smaller scale story, because sometimes I think Pixar goes so far into world building. Like I think Inside Out was so amazing because they were able to build that whole world inside your head and sell it to us in an hour and a half, 2 hours, and make it all make sense. So that was a miracle, I think, all on its own. But it's really relatable. And something that bugged me about this movie, I'll be honest though, was Disney itself and releasing it. They released it free of charge on Disney Plus, which I think is, cool if you're trying to say like, for reasons why we can't go to the movies, it's good. But I think it was odd that they released other movies in theaters and that they didn't make this a premium release. And I'm wondering if Disney is at odds with Pixar right now, because I thought that was a strange move, and I don't support that.
It is odd. And honestly, without you telling me about Luca, I might not have known it existed. The promotion for it has been very lacking.
Yeah, I think I do think there's a reason for it. I think it's because I think there is a lot of LGBTQIA plus undertones in the movie, and I'm almost curious if Disney wasn't really ready to push that out too hard.
But yet they go out and tell everybody that they're all about diversity and inclusion, yet they kind of keep doing these things on the down low.
And I thought that was a little interesting. I mean, I don't know if you saw it, but I was like, this is pretty obviously a metaphor for that. And like the whole sea monster thing, hiding who you are to fit in. And I was just kind of like, this is like borderline, like straight up saying it. But and then kind of funny, I think, that it flew under the radar with promotions and it got released for free. I'm like, oh, that's kind of weird, don't you think?
Yeah, and I don't want to be, because I kind of, in a business sense, I kind of get it. I'm not saying I agree with it, but I get it from a business sense, because you're like, if we go too far this way, we're going to tick off this set of parents and people. And if we go the other way, we're going to tick off these people. So how do you satisfy both camps? Well, you create a movie with undertones, So, I mean, I get that, but, still.
Yeah. And I thought that was a little funny. And I know people had asked about that and the director straight up denied it, but I don't know, even after I heard that, some of the promotions that have come up, like on Instagram and stuff, they some of the writing they use is rainbow. And I'm like, what's going on here? It's like you're selling one thing. It's like you're pushing it out really hard and you're straight up saying another thing. And I think it's really interesting, really, really interesting with movies and that company who now owns pretty much everything. But I love the movie. I adored it. I like the Italian culture. I think the accents were funny. I love how the sea creatures or the sea monster people have they keep an American accent to kind of separate them a bit more, and the people on land all have a true Italian accent. But Julia, the girl character that they befriend, is a little bit kind of a toss up there because she is from the land, but she's kind of got a half and half accent, which is kind of funny. But I guess you could suggest because she's an outsider too. It's all about the underdogs in the world and outsiders, and I love a good underdog story.
Yeah. Now I have a couple of Disney entries while we're talking about this stuff. While we're talking about Disney, first I've told you about Soul, which I really really enjoyed Soul. All about a man who is a trumpet player, mostly as a hobby, but he also teaches a music class. But he's always aspired to more. He's always wanted to be a band guy. And he ends up dying, and his soul he ends up escaping the escalator to the great beyond and ending up in a place where souls are kind of like born and they create their personalities before being tossed into earth. And he ends up running into a misfit soul, and that's where the kind of like the adventure begins. I found it was a really, really good, heartwarming, charming story.
The animation's so pretty with the blue outline. It reminds me a little of Inside Out. Did it have any kind of vibes like that?
And I still have not seen Inside Out. I have it on Blu-ray. I have still not watched it because it just becomes one of those things where it keeps getting shelved for other things that I'm watching. And I keep saying I'm going to watch it, and I haven't. But just everything that I gather from it, it's got the same kind of spirit.
Ladies and gentlemen, because it's a podcast, I feel I have to tell you, my mouth dropped when Rachel said she hadn't.
Your mouth did drop.
Because it's been out for a couple years now. And I just think it's Pixar's best thing since WALL-E.
WALL-E. Ooh, I love WALL-E.
I think WALL-E is objectively Pixar's, it's one of my favorites, but I think WALL-E's objectively Pixar's best movie, period, critically.
I love WALL-E. I could go on for a while about WALL-E.
So beautiful.
He's amazing.
In so many ways.
Yeah, we could discuss WALL-E.
We should do a Pixar breakdown episode, like what are our top movies in general, and kind of like would you like to do that one episode this season?
You're on, sir. You're on, sir. I'm with you there.
We'll do a little countdown of our best Pixar. We'll have to talk in the background for that before our actual podcast, because you people will be here for 6 hours breaking down who's going on what number.
Right, exactly. But now that we're talking about Disney Pixar still, I am all in on Monsters at Work, which is a TV series, a continuation on Disney Plus from Monsters Inc. and Monsters University.
You've been watching it, right?
I have been watching it, and at first I was kind of like apprehensive about it. But I'm telling you, it is actually really good. It still has the same spirit as the movies. It has John Goodman, Billy Crystal, Jennifer Tilly. Everybody came back.
Right. Jennifer Tilly's in that.
And it really kind of is relevant to today, where this college student that went through Monsters University has been training for 4 years to be this scary monster, and he's at the top of his class. And then he comes in to his very first day and finds that now it's a laughing floor. So he comes out of college to find that his skills are automatically just irrelevant.
How
And
relevant
what do
to the
you
real
do
world.
with that? Exactly.
That's so
exactly.
funny.
It's a perfect parallel. So now he's gotten thrown into this department that he has no skills for in order to try to retrain himself. And he's like taking classes at night to the comedy classes that Mike Wazowski's having in order to work his way up to the laugh floor. So, but it is really good. The comedy is great. The monsters are all funny. It's really good.
When I was in college, I was studying film, and I learned how to edit using tapes, and we used Final Cut 7. And then when I got out, it was all digital. Nobody used tapes anymore. And Final Cut 7 had been erased. So I was like, oh, how funny. I guess I'll just relearn it. So that's funny. That's really, I like that they got the main cast back. That's super important. And I think they needed that for legitimacy. I forgot Jennifer Tilly was the voice of the snakehead Medusa lady. I think, I thought she was just doing Chucky.
Yeah, right. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So she's back. Oh my God.
You can't keep that series down, can you, Rachel?
No, Mindy Kaling is in it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she plays one of the monsters. You know, it's really charming. The same spirit. It's
Mindy Kaling, who's in charge of most of the writing for The Office, is going to another show about an office.
Right.
How wonderful.
And she plays the peppy hyper monster of this. It's basically, I can't remember what it's called now, but it's like their utilities department, the maintenance department, and she's all gung-ho, and she's very much her character on The Office without being her character on The Office.
I love her on The Office. Do you have time to talk about our relationship? She is so funny. I love her so much, and she's not in enough. And I'm sorry that I didn't watch the Mindy Project, so I do want to give that a chance. But I want her in mainstream everything. She was in a movie with Seth Rogen the night before, that Christmas movie I told you about that I love so much.
Yep.
And they were really great together too. So I'm hoping we see them more in the future. But she's great.
Speaking of The Office, I started the rewatch again. Now, my husband can typically find me on a Sunday afternoon watching Office reruns, even while I'm just doing stuff around the house. It's just comforting to have in the background. I still laugh at the same places. But yesterday, because we were all preparing for a major storm, I kind of wanted to keep, it was funny, I wanted to keep my PlayStation 5 off because I was petrified of the same thing happening that happened to my PS4, where it got messed up because of a power outage. So I was intentionally keeping my PS5 off. So I pulled out my big fat Office DVD set. And I started watching. I watched entire season 1 yesterday while I was doing jigsaw puzzles.
Oh my gosh. Season 1's not that easy to get through.
Well, you know what? It is for me. I mean, because especially seeing as I know the characters now, so I know where it's all leading to. But I was having a great time yesterday. I watched the deleted scenes, and I'm going to watch the commentaries eventually. And I did start getting into season 2, but I still laugh at the same places. Just the absurdity of that show. It's unreal.
I'm a rewatcher of The Office myself. One of the chronic ones who's just kind of always got it playing. That and Parks and Rec, and both have ceased ever since they moved over to Peacock. And my heart's broken watching clips of Andy Dwyer and Leslie Knope and Michael Scott, and just missing all of my friends from those shows. But I've been going strong on Grace and Frankie.
Yeah, I would just another quick note about The Office, because I know you do want to talk about Grace and Frankie, and I really want you to talk about it. But I'll just tell you, I would be happy to let you borrow my box set of The Office, but I don't know if I could give it up for that long because I just keep rewatching.
Rachel,
it, so.
Rachel, I switched to an Apple TV. I don't even have a thing to plug into. I don't even watch disc. I had a PS4. I used one for years, and it was so loud for the fan. It was literally competing with my sound system. So I got Apple TV as a birthday present one year, and I was like, oh, I'm never going back. This is great. And now I have to buy digital versions of everything. But you know what? I should have done it from the start. I don't know why I was building a Blu-ray collection, because I'm a fool. But yeah, the Office is fantastic, and I think I watched it for years as a thing to just turn on and fall asleep to, but without actually watching it, before I ever realized how beautiful that show is and how many great moments are in it. And if you're a casual watcher of The Office, get on there right now and really give it a chance, especially seasons 2 through 5. They're so good. And oh God, and I don't know if this is said enough out there about season 8, because it's hard to watch without Michael Scott for sure. But Robert California is just fantastic, and he does not get enough credit. He is so dang funny, and I love him.
The more that I watch the later seasons of The Office, there's some things I just don't like about some of those episodes. But Robert California is a true gem. I love James Spader. I think he's great, and Robert California is delightful and makes me laugh more each time I do watch it. That said, maybe we should be doing an Office episode. Maybe we'll put that together.
I would do that. Yeah, definitely. Let's definitely do an Office episode.
We can do season by season and just hammer it all out.
I'd even do a Parks and Rec thing too. But honestly, I kind of just watched the first 2 seasons of Parks and Rec once, and on all my rewatches, I skipped right to the end of season 2, or the cabin episode where what's his head gets shot, where Ron Swanson gets shot, because it's really, really funny.
Grace and Frankie, please do tell me about
Grace and Frankie. Yes, I did a rewatch of Grace and Frankie, because that is my round the clock always on show. It's just like really positive, really fun, and I just really think they kill it. And definitely one of my favorite shows like ever. But they released 4 episodes of season 7 that they filmed a while back before anything started happening, before we couldn't be filming. And they released them kind of recently, and it is just hilarious. It's really funny. It's the 4 leads, Sam Waterston, Jane Fonda, Lily Tomlin, and Martin Sheen all together, really kind of spending a lot of time together. And it's really, really fun. It's the final season. They're entering. It's Netflix's longest original show at 7 seasons. And they even kind of had a little speech talking about how, the show that's about growing older is going to have the longest run on Netflix, which I really love and I appreciate. And I just think these women are both in their mid 80s right now, and they are working very hard to put out a quality show, a headlining show, executive producing show. And it's not easy for somebody in Hollywood who is like in the top of their game to do that. And these 2 women are doing it. And I'm so impressed by them. And I've heard a confirmation. I hope that the source is true, but that we will be finally getting a 9 to 5 reunion, and Dolly Parton is going to be on the show at some point. So to see those 2 together again, I think is going to be really cool, and a really cool way to close the show. And Rachel, I will cry when that show ends. I hope it's got a really nice emotional ending. I think, occasionally some shows end. Like, I think Modern Family kind of ended. It was just kind of like, oh, it's over. It didn't really have like a big thing at the end. And I'm really hoping they tie it up nicely. So here's the hoping.
All right. Wow. Good. I'm excited for you, because I know that you've been looking forward to that for a long time.
Been a little while without my girls, so I'm excited to see them come back to my TV screen.
All right. Let's see. I'm also going to catch you up on a couple other things that I saw on Netflix. So a lot of things have been very Netflix centric for me lately.
Netflix is a fantastic place to watch.
I know, right? I do have a lot of stuff in my queue on Amazon Prime I have to get to too. But yeah. So I did find a movie called Cargo from 2018. I really think that you might like Cargo. It's Australian
Ooh,
and it's a zombie film. Um,
that sounds awesome.
the way they've kind of done it is a little different. If you get infected, they know that you have about 48 hours before you just kind of, yeah, you die, but you kind of more transform as you're dying. So like their version of I don't know, Red Cross or whatever has provided everybody with this emergency pack, what you should do if you get infected. So this man gets infected knowing that he's got this baby, that he's got to find somebody to care for this baby after he's gone. And
interesting. It's one of those shows that's kind of, it's probably going to have a lot of like what they're doing up into they turn kind of thing. What are they going to do with that last? I bet that's a lot of the challenges are in it, right?
Yeah, especially for this guy. He knows that he only has a certain amount of time. I mean, you only have up to like 48 hours. Some people might be 43 or whatever. So he sees his mental state and his physical state, of course, deteriorating. And he's just got to find somebody that's going to be able to care for his child. But I think it was an interesting take on the zombie genre.
What would you do in that time frame, though? Do you think do you not sleep? Like, do you just try to like live through as much as that time frame as you can, or is by not sleeping, are you going to turn faster? That's interesting.
Right. It's like, yeah, you have 48 hours. Okay, so now you're really, really tired. So do you sleep or do you keep yourself awake for the next 48 hours, knowing that your quality of life, well, it's going to be horrific anyway, because you're dying, but your quality of life, it's like, okay, so out of 48 hours, you might sleep for 10. Well, Did
you catch World War Z?
I did.
How'd you like that?
I liked it a lot more than I thought I was going to. Brad Pitt did an excellent job. And yeah. I really think that it was interesting.
What was the Zack Snyder one that just came out? Army of something, or is it not?
Oh, yes. It's with Batista.
Yeah. I didn't see it.
I didn't see it yet, but it's on my queue. I do want to see it.
If you haven't seen it yet, Zack Snyder's Justice League was I said in one of my Instagram posts where I do my Cup of Joe thing, I was talking about my last one because it was before it released, how I don't care about the Snyderverse. I don't really care what happens. And I was wrong because they did a great job with that movie. I think I was so far past believing the Justice League could be saved by editing or old footage. And it was so well thought out and the theme just felt really good. And they gave everyone important parts. It didn't feel like Wonder Woman and Superman had to do everything. It was like everyone had an important part to play, and really, really cool. And if you have a spare 4.5 hours to watch it, Rachel, I'd say go for it. But really cool. Definitely, it was cool. It felt like I really saw the Justice League.
Cool. All right, let's talk about a few more things before we end up talking about what we're looking forward to. I don't know if you've seen this on Netflix yet, but it's called The Platform. It's Spanish, and I think it's from maybe 2018, was it? I can't remember what it is. I wouldn't say that this movie is for everybody. It's very dark and gritty, and it's very gory. But it's a take on class structure and society. Mm-hmm. And it's what it is there's this like big like cement building, which is
literally a platform, huh?
It is filled with prisoners and volunteers who are involved in this. It's social experiment. It's a social experiment movie. And there are at the beginning of the movie an unknown amount of floors with 2 people on each floor. What happens is there's this big rectangular platform in the middle that raises and lowers to each level. What happens is the people at the very top fill it with food. Okay. And as it comes down, like it stops at floor 1, well, the people on the first floor, of course, they get their pick of whatever food. And then maybe 10 minutes later, everything just kind of, the platform falls away to the second floor. And then there's people on the second floor pick what they want. Okay, so that now by the time you're on their let's say 100th level, there's nothing left.
Yeah.
So, people start losing their minds and do what people that are starving will do. And then you do that for 30 days, and then they kind of like knock you out. They switch you around. Now, somebody that was on the 150th floor could be on the third floor.
Yeah.
So it's really dark, but I actually kind of enjoyed it. It's really just kind of absurd and off the wall, but it is a very close look at class structure.
Interesting. That does sound cool. They kind of did something like that in Loki, and I guess we should just quickly plug the Marvel stuff. I know we're going to have a more dedicated episode to superheroes in general, but WandaVision was fantastic. I really enjoyed that a lot. Really great show about grief, and I really thought Elizabeth Olsen was really awesome in it. Falcon and Winter Soldier did not need to happen, period.
No?
I don't know. I was fine with, I think because there's going to be a Captain America 4. I'm like, and essentially they left off in the same places that they were left in Endgame. I think there's some good stuff that happened to kind of move these people forward more. And I think we'll see more stuff that came from the show, like little Easter eggs and pieces that will be pushed forward later on. But I thought that was the weakest one out of the three. And Loki was phenomenal. And there's this cool, it's actually probably the most hated episode of Loki. It's episode 3 of season 1. It's about this apocalypse that they're on this planet. And it's kind of funny you mentioned the class system, because it reminds me of that. And like these rich people getting on the ship to get off the planet before it collides with the moon, and how the poor people have to just kind of sit there and wait for their doom. But Loki was really, really, really cool. I loved Loki. Very cool show. And Marvel's having a great year. Black Widow was okay.
Just okay.
If it had come out in the timeline where it falls in the movies, because it takes place after Civil War, I think it would have been better. They treated her like an afterthought. I think Scarlett Johansson, I think Disney respects women less than men. And I just don't agree with anything that they said. And now I'm mad at Disney right now. I don't like this lawsuit thing, and them trying to scold Scarlett Johansson, saying this time frame and everything that's going on, you have the nerve to sue him. I'm like, you guys ran her out on $50 million. No chance would you have ever done that to any of the others. And if they were really concerned with what's going on in the world right now and how the movie is released, then you wouldn't have released it in theaters as well as on Disney Plus. And I just think they're trying to really make it seem like, her thing isn't valid. And I just think it's so not cool. And they did her dirty by making this movie 10 years too late as it was. And I'm definitely very upset with them for that. I think she's totally in the right.
I'm upset with Disney on multiple fronts. Not the least is which, what they did to John Boyega. Mm-hmm. And this certainly included this whole thing with Scarlett Johansson and the lawsuit. They're using what's going on now to kind of try to shame her, mm-hmm. and make it look like she had no thought to what everybody else is going through. And that's certainly not the case. They just wanted to shame her publicly for even trying to go against them. And that's absolutely wrong.
They even said something recently, like her bringing it public was something about, like, they're trying to say it's just gamesmanship. I'm like, what is this stuff you're throwing out there? Just have a real talk with this actress and just have a real conversation. Like what they're doing to me, I think is gamesmanship, or trying to make a huge spectacle out of her. They're trying to make her look like she's nuts. And I'm like, have some more respect for the woman who's been in your movies and in there the whole time since the beginning.
I don't enjoy Scarlett Johansson as an actress. I have a hard time getting into her work. Mm-hmm. I have not seen Black Widow, nor will I probably, just because I haven't been in, I haven't been into the whole Marvel universe anyway. I'm so
Mhm.
far behind. I don't think I'd ever catch up.
Yeah.
But we're talking about the same company that coming out of, or somewhat coming out of, what we've all been going through for the past over, a year and a half. You'd think a park would try to be more inclusive in trying to get people to their parks.
Yeah.
Instead, what they're doing is saying, yeah, come to our park, but we're raising the rates. We're charging more now for things that we never used to charge for before.
Mm.
So it's making it used to be where a small family, maybe couldn't get to Disney, but if they did, they scrimped and saved, and this was their once in a lifetime trip. Well, now those people can't even do that. It's
heartbreaking.
It's the wealthy people. The wealthy people are going to be able to afford Disney, and you're going to strike out the middle class, and and nobody's going to be able to go beyond the wealthy.
Yeah, that's not cool.
It's not cool at all. I mean, they just revamped their fast pass system, and it's obnoxious. They've realized how some rides and attractions are valued more to people than others, such as Rise of the Resistance, which is technologically astounding ride. If you ever get to see footage of this ride, it is absolutely amazing.
I think I have. It does look great.
It breaks down a lot, which I can see because the technology required to operate this ride would break down constantly.
Yeah.
But they have virtual queues starting at 7:00 in the morning. And some people, I mean, unless you're in the queue at the specific time, you're never going to get on the ride. Even if you've been looking forward to being in this park all day long, you might not get on this ride. Well, now with these other attractions, they're making, this one's popular. So if you want to pay $7, we could put you in a fast pass line to get to this ride. It's absolutely ridiculous. So I'm mad at Disney anyways, but this lawsuit didn't help.
Yeah, I think they have some damage control to do. And, I think they should learn from what happened with James Gunn and that whole scenario, and how DC scooped him up for the Suicide Squad, which was a great movie. Really, really awesome. But, I've heard that they're eyeing Scarlett Johansson now for Poison Ivy. And it's like, good. I hope that's the case, because it'd be a missed opportunity for them to not try to take advantage of this again, because it came out with wonderful results before. But I really wish Marvel, and, sometimes I think Marvel is the company itself. I think they are moving more ahead of Disney, because I know Kevin Feige, they're separate entities still. Even though Disney owns them, they're still like creatively different things, and Disney has the final say. But Marvel can say, look, we want to do this. We want to pay this person. We want to put this in our story. So I think they're more ahead of the game, but I think it's tough to have this umbrella right now.
I agree. I did hear, and I don't know how true it is and to what extent, but I did hear that Disney did already scrap a project that Scarlett Johansson was attached to, like a TV, Disney Plus TV project, a series project. So if they did that, shame on them. Just shame on Disney in general right now. Get your acts together, people.
Yeah.
I think Walt Disney would be completely ashamed by those in charge. What they've done to his parks and with the movies, and he would never have treated Scarlett Johansson like that. And I just think that he would be incredibly ashamed at this point.
Yeah, I mean, power corrupts, I guess, and Disney, the company itself, just got bigger and bigger ever since he passed. So, maybe someday somebody will step into the leadership role and kind of try to bring it back to its former glory of. I don't want to say that either, because who knows whatever happened behind closed curtains kind of thing, or closed doors.
Mm-hmm.
but hopefully there could be a better future, more respect to people they're working with. And like Marvel, like they're getting really big with the directors they're choosing to give them a lot of creative control. Like with the Eternals I think this movie's gonna be fantastic. And but they're really letting the directors kind of sink more into what they do rather than just say, hey, these are your parameters, stick to them or die.
Mhm.
But I think they're getting better, but they have a lot of work to do.
Yeah, yeah, absolute power corrupts absolutely. Now that all said, I'll sit here and say shame on Disney all day long, but yeah, I will still watch my Disney movies. And if I could afford to do so at a time that's more appropriate, you'd see me in line at the parks. So,
What are you looking forward to for our second season, Rachel? Because we have a lot of stuff on the docket, and I know we're still working out some ideas for episodes too, as we've been talking about here.
Sure, I am looking forward to now. Now that we've been jotting down more ideas as we've been talking, we certainly have even more ideas. I'm looking forward to maybe an one or two actor specific episodes that we've talked about. And I'm looking forward to just the season in general. It's just been a way too long. As far as movies go, I am looking forward to a few movies. When we go to the drive-in on Thursday, you know what we're going to see?
Tell me.
We're going to see Free Guy.
I've heard it's got great reviews so far.
Ryan Reynolds. It's Ryan Reynolds. That's what it takes to get me there. Ryan Reynolds. Followed by Jungle Cruise, which Disney,
great.
Based on the Disney attraction Jungle Cruise, I'm all in.
I think they've done okay on their attractions in the past.
Yeah, they have. Some are better than others, but absolutely. I mean, come on.
Hey, I love the Haunted Mansion.
My husband is not such a big fan of that one. As he's watched it more, he thinks of it better now than he used to. I find nothing wrong with it. I like it.
Mm-hmm.
They did, especially once you go to Disney and you ride the Haunted Mansion and you see how much they did infuse that movie with certain little things of the ride. It makes it even better. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to the Jungle Cruise. I'm looking forward to A Quiet Place 2.
You've seen it, right?
I have not seen A Quiet Place 2 yet. I'm looking forward to that. I absolutely must see that soon. I have not seen Resident Evil Infinite Darkness on Netflix yet.
Mm-hmm.
But I am really looking forward to that as a huge fan of Resident Evil. So there's a lot going on that I'm looking forward to this fall.
Very cool. I've seen a couple of those, so I'm excited to chat about them with you too. I'm excited to talk about Mortal Kombat with you, and just because I don't think we have had too much of a conversation about it. So I'm really curious to see what you think, because I have some pretty strong thoughts about lots of things. So I'm excited to chat about that. Ready or Not, that's definitely a movie that I wanted to chat about with you. And I think now that we're far enough past its release, it's definitely clearly going to be a cult classic. It's not going to be a popular movie, and people should know about it. It's awesome, and it's a lot of fun. And I think, what's her name? Samara something or other, the actress, the woman from The Babysitter. She's picking up a lot of traction lately. So I'm really, whatever the actress's name is, I forget, but she's picking up a lot of good roles and she's getting popular. So I'm glad. I think she's been great. And I love The Babysitter, and the sequel is pretty good too. And Wednesday, can't forget Wednesday, Addams Family show, live action, starring Catherine Zeta-Jones, Morticia, directed all by Tim Burton.
So where will Wednesday be available?
On Netflix.
Oh, okay. Okay. Gotcha. All right.
Oh yeah.
And when is that coming out?
I forget, next year, but they have cast Wednesday Addams. It's the girl from The Babysitter. So it's not what I was hoping for a whole Christina Ricci return thing. She's not coming back, and I don't know if she's going to cameo in it maybe, but I think regardless, it looks like a cool cast. So I'm excited.
That is awesome. That's great. Yeah. So what do you think about fall TV? Are you looking forward to anything fall TV wise? I know you're not a big network show guy.
I'm excited, like, again, all the Marvel stuff I'm very excited for. Succession, I'm very excited for Succession. It's coming out in October. It's a great HBO show. I think I've talked about it on here before. It's basically about Brian Cox's character is the leader of this huge company, and it's just essentially like which of his kids are going to inherit the empire and kind of the drama that comes from that. So that's coming back, season 3. Really cool show. Um, I am excited for a little bit for American Horror Story, like the double feature with the Alien one and the Sea Creature one. Just because they're finally doing Aliens, which I've been hoping for them to do for like 10 seasons now. But I don't know. I'm a little nervous they're splitting into 2 seasons for no reason. But Evan Peters is coming back, Sarah Paulson's coming back, so I think we're in for a better season than 1984.
Okay, cool. I've got the third season of What We Do in the Shadows. I never shut up about that show, The Office with Vampires.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in the process of rewatching that before I get into the third season. And they ended on a great cliffhanger for season 2. So I'm excited to see where that goes. And then I have the one that I usually talk about to you, which is The Rookie. That'll be coming back for season 4 now. Holy crap.
Wow.
In September. So I'm really looking forward to that. Yeah, and as well as my other favorites coming back too. Oh, The Walking Dead just premiered last night.
Season.
Season 11 now, I think it is.
I think so.
I wanted to watch it this morning, but the problem is in the morning or in certain times of the day, the light coming in from my windows glares right on my TV.
That's a dark show.
I saw, and it is a dark show, especially the first few minutes. I'm trying to watch it and I can't see the action on the TV because cinematically it's just so dark and there's too much light on my TV. So I've got to wait until a different time of day.
Slightly interested to come back to it just because Michonne's coming back. And I want to see, I know Carol and Daryl will survive because there's going to be a show called Carol and Daryl after, and the movies are coming out. So I have a complicated relationship with The Walking Dead. It lost too much of its main cast, and as much as people hated Carl, when they killed Carl, it broke straw that broke the camel's back for me. I was like, no, you can't kill him now. You made him the hope for the future of the show, and you killed him. And you made that poor little kid move down there, and you took his job away. And he hasn't been in anything since.
Well, I think he's actually been in
college.
No, there was a show that he's been attached to.
Get out of here.
I want to say it's like A Million Little Things, but I'm not sure if that's the show. I could be doing fake news on that.
That's a movie with the kid from American Horror Story or Apocalypse. That's who that kid is.
No, he's been in something pretty recently, and I can't think of what it is. Somebody's got to call me out on that, but I know that he was filming something, and I can't remember what it is.
That's good though. Good for him. He deserves it.
Sorry, I just happened to move my phone, and I saw a text come up from one of my friends that said Marilyn Eastman from Night of the Living Dead passed away yesterday.
Oh my God. I think that deserves a moment of silence right now.
It does. Marilyn, Night of the Living Dead is a major movie for me in growing up, and it's sad to see her go.
Forward movie for its time, very ahead of its time.
Yeah.
For multiple things like that, and having a black actor be your main.
Really absolutely.
Cool. Really cool. I love that movies did that, and that movie is a staple for so many to come after it. So many people remade or have been influenced by that movie. Night of the Living Dead is one of the greatest movies of all time.
It absolutely is. So rest in peace, Marilyn, and my condolences to her, family, friends, loved ones. Her spot in Night of the Living Dead will shine on.
It will. Oh man, I think we've been going for a long time, Rachel. I think we gotta want them, make them wanting more.
And it's funny. You're absolutely right. We should get going, and we will do so. I would just say that this is how it goes for us all the time. We get talking about movies and TV, and we don't shut up.
We do. And while this has been more of a catch-up episode, we're jumping from subject to subject. We will be a little bit more concise with the rest of the season, but I'm so excited to have been here and chatted with you guys about everything that Rachel and I have seen since our last season and what we're looking forward to this season. And we got so much, Rachel. We got scary stuff. We got Marvel stuff. We got Halloween Kills.
Uh, uh,
Um,
I'm excited. I'm excited for the season. And you're right. We did kind of ramble on today, and we will be more concise in following episodes, but it was just good to get it all out and to talk to everybody again. And thank you so much for joining us. And we're glad to be back, and we're glad to have everybody back. If you like what you heard here today, give us a big thumbs up, join in on the discussion by leaving a comment. And while you're at it, subscribe and hit the notification bell so you won't miss new episodes. See you next time.
See you later.